Hello guys and welcome back to another video. My name is Kizzy and today we're going to talk about some books, specifically the books that I want to read in 2021, which is literally just around the corner. 2020 has been a year to say the least. It has been an interesting one and I am looking forward to 2021. So what better way than to welcome the new year in just 2 days or something ridiculous like that by doing my 2021 TBR. So I don't think I did one last year. I think I'd posted like 2 videos this time last year. So I don't think one of them was a TBR. I think I did a classics specifically TBR. There are some classics on this list, but they're not just classics. And I think I read like 1 book on that classics TBR anyway, so it wasn't that successful. But I'm very excited for this next year. I have some cracking books on this list, including actually the backlist TBR that I did a few weeks ago, as well as my most anticipated releases for 2021, which I also posted a few weeks ago. So I will link those up the top and down below if you would like to check those out as well, because they are also on this list. But I do have a further 10 books, I believe, on this list as well. I've got my trusty spreadsheet here that I would also like to read next year. So fingers crossed I can get through all of that. I think that's like pretty much a lot of books, but we've got the plan. So starting with some classics, I would like to read some Russian classics next year. I have 3 now. I have Anna Karenina, which has been on my TBR for so long, like literally the longest time ever, and I have a beautiful edition of it. Let me just go get it. So I have it in the vintage classics, Russian classics edition, which are all these kind of red paisley pattern materials. I have it in the Dr. Zhivago, which is another book, Russian classic that I want to read this year if I can get to it. But Anna Karenina is like my priority in the Russian classics scheme of things, and it is beautiful, like my baby, and it's got like lovely end pages as well. So Anna Karenina, and then another Russian classic that I also recently purchased, which was in my recent videos, is The Master and Margarita, I want to say, which is also in this Penguin Classics Deluxe edition, and it is stunning. It's got deckled edges, it's got another little flap design there, and it sounds really interesting. So those are 2 on my list, plus Dr. Zhivago, and I would like to at least read a minimum of one of those, preferably all 3 of those, but a minimum of one of those this year, starting with Anna Karenina, I think, because it's a hefty one. It's quite big. Let me see how many pages it is. Oh shit, my washing machine's going off in the background, I just noticed. Sorry, I really hope you can hear me and that's not really annoying for you audio-wise. But, you know, I'm on a time limit today, so we're just gonna have to film. It'll stop in like half an hour. So this is 963 pages. So actually it's shorter than I thought. I thought it was at least 1,000 pages. And the writing is like quite comfortably sized, so I think it'll be alright to read. But yes, those I think are the only classics I have on this. The next one I have is a sequel that I don't have. It's out already and it is one of my most anticipated releases of last year, but I haven't purchased it yet because I have purchased it, but I've pre-ordered the Fairy Loot deluxe editions of all 4 of the books. They're all in hardback, they're all in the same cover. This is a series that had a cover change halfway through and they only released the paperbacks. So I have a hardback in one of the recent ones in the new cover, and then paperbacks in the old covers before that. So I just wanted them all in hardback. It's my favourite series, probably of all time. I do plan on rereading it, but the book is A Sky Beyond the Storm, and that is by Saber Tahir. It is the 4th and final book in the Ember and the Ashes series. It is an incredible series. I have seen some people, I saw one vlog where they didn't like it at all, and it just broke my heart a little bit because I want everyone to love this book entirely and amazingly, because it is amazing. I love this series. I'll get the cover. So this is the old cover. It doesn't look like this anymore. It has more like a, I think it is, I don't know. I'll put like a picture of the new covers here. But this follows 2 characters. It follows Laia and Elias, and it is set in a kind of Roman Empire inspired world, and I think it also has a lot of Persian mythology and folklore woven within it. and it's just an incredible read. I would recommend. This is such a floppy book. I never noticed that before. It is an absolute wonder to read. It was one of my first fantasies that I read, and I absolutely adored it and fell in love with it. So I would highly recommend. I am going to reread it this year, I think, before I read the 4th book, so that I can like read all of it and like have all the feels and just the love for this book. So I think that's the only series I have on this, or like sequel to a series. The other books are all books pretty much I have to show you. I'm just going to collect them. I don't know why I didn't do this before the video. So I have, first of all, oh, my dishwasher is getting really noisy. It's not even a dishwasher, washing machine. Right, I think I might pause, wait for that to finish and come back. Okay, so my dishwasher, washing machine, whatever, is finally stopped, so we can continue with the amazing video that this is. So we were just about to get on to the juicy books, and first up on that list is one, well, a lot of these, quite a few of these, I actually got for Christmas. So the first one is one that my mum bought me. Well, she bought me all the ones I bought for Christmas, but she also bought herself this one, so we might do like a little buddy read, mother-daughter buddy read, depending on how schedules go, because, you know, uni student and a midwife, schedules don't often coincide. But this sounds really interesting, and it's a collection of short stories called Love in Colour, Mythical Tales from Around the World Retold. And look at that cover, it's a beautiful cover. It's relatively short, so I think it'll be a nice easy one to go through. So I think, from what I can tell from the contents, it is retold stories, but then also she has a few new tales, which I don't know if she's like, if they're just modern tales or she's actually invented them, but it just sounds so good. So there are goddesses, businesswomen, powerful Ghanaian spokeswomen, from what I can tell from the brief look at the blurb, but it sounds really good. Mythical tales from around the world. I'm sold. The next book I have is also kind of a collection of short stories, I suppose, but that is Tales from Russian Folklore, in this beautiful cover. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see if it's focusing because I don't have my glasses on, so it looks unfocused. But this is obviously a collection of short stories that are Russian folk tales. There are a lot, so if we just look at the contents page, there are a tad few in this book that is 350 pages long, but I know quite a lot of like English folk tales and like European folk tales, but I don't really know much on the kind of broader, wider scale. I've read a lot of, well, 2 I think Russian retellings of folk tales, so I just would like to read the source material really. This is a translation by Stephen Pimoff, I think, and I think it'll be really interesting. I'm interested in it. Got a lot of witchy stuff, I think, Baba Yaga and all that kind of thing. So I'm very excited for that one. Then the next book we have is The History of Magic. So one of my, oh, I'll get it. Got a bit carried away there. One of my goals for 2021 is to read more non-fiction. This is kind of non-fiction, I suppose. Like, it is a kind of critical assessment or gathering of things from history. I think it is based off like real history, not necessarily texts, but actually like archaeological findings. I think the man Chris Gosden is very interested in that, and I think he might be an archaeologist. Oh, I just found my bookmark. I got this new bookmark for Christmas as well. Is it focusing? It's a bit shiny, but there we go. How lovely. So this is I think on Goodreads it does say non-fiction, book about the history of magic, going from alchemy to witchcraft, from the Ice Age to the present. So I think it's going to be quite interesting. I'm very interested in magic, and I think this will also help a lot with my dissertation, not necessarily my dissertation, but essays and just general kind of literary interests of mine. And it's quite a lovely book for a scholarly book. I think it is like scholarly. He's a professor in something, drawing on his decades of research around the world with incredible breadth and authority and stunning detail. From the first known horoscopes to the power of tattoos, Gosden reveals magic's positive traits and how we might use it to rethink our relationship with the world. This timely history of human thought across thousands of years rightly shows the role of magic that has played in shaping civilization. I think it'll be interesting anyway. Might not be your cup of tea. Hopefully it will be mine. And then the next book we have is, okay, so I want to finish as a series Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I am just about to finish the second book. There are another 2 currently released, as well as a short story that I think needs to be read in between those last 2 books. Not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I would love to finish those. So obviously the 2 books in that are, I found it. So this is part 1. There is another part, but I just didn't want to pick that one up. Oh, but I should have. The other part, when you put them together, they make a whole picture. It's amazing. This is Oathbringer part 1. Oh no, this is part 2. I picked up part 2. This is Oathbringer, and then the 4th book in the series is Rhythm of War, which has just come out, and it's so gorgeous. I had to carry this, as well as like the 50 other million books I had to take on a 3-hour journey through 2 trains, and it was a challenge, but I made it because it was worth it. Obviously they are hefty books. Like, this is a hardback, this is a paperback, and there's 2 of these, and they are, you know, hefty to say the least. This is over 1,000 pages long. So we got some quite big books on the TBR this year, but I would really love to finish this series this year, so that I can then go on to my next Sanderson series, which I would also like to read this year. It is a lot more nicely sized than Stormlight Archive, which also, I should bear in mind, that's going to be a 10-book series, so we're not even halfway in that series with all the books that have been released. So yes, but I would then like to read Mistborn Era 2, which is the Shadow of Self, the Ally of Law, and the Bands of Mourning. I don't know which order these books are in, so I'll find that out when I start them. But obviously these are much smaller, like way smaller. 400 pages, 300 pages, 375 pages, so much smaller, much more manageable to get through. And I would really like to finish that. And then I think I've read all the main books in the Stormlight, not Stormlight, the Cosmere. I just haven't read the little standalone ones. So that's very interesting and fun, and a nice little goal of mine to do next year. Obviously I like Brandon Sanderson. If you haven't followed me for the last few months this year, then Brandon Sanderson is a new favourite author of mine, discovered in 2020. So we're going to continue the love for Sanderson through 2021. And then let me have a little check up on my list. We have one more book on this list, and then we're done. You can go back to your day having been bored to death by this video. The next book I want to read is Troy by Stephen Fry. I love mythology. I love mythology retellings, and I love Stephen Fry. So this is just an absolute... This would have been on my most anticipated releases had I known it was being released when I made that video last year. It is an incredible book. This is the Waterstones exclusive signed edition. Look at those end pages. Oh. And we got Stephen Fry's signature there. It is just gorgeous, and I've read Mythos and Heroes by him. I have Mythos again on audiobooks just so I can listen to his wonderful audiobook voice whenever I feel like it, and I just love it. And I will be incredibly interested because I know this story quite well. I've read many retellings of it. I read the original. I've studied the original, will be studying it again next term. So I know this story well, and just people's interpretations and retellings of it, I just think are fascinating. And, you know, I can't wait. And this has got also artworks in it. There's 2 sections of that with a couple of pages in each section that he'll clearly obviously maybe refer to. I don't know if this is going to be like his Mythos and Heroes, which is him just telling the story in quite a colloquial, like he's just sitting there chatting to you and telling you the stories as he would a Stephen Fry, rather than like an omniscient third-party narrator. So I wonder if this is actually going to be the same, or if it's actually going to be a story. It looks like it's going to be a story. Oh, but it's all, ooh, maybe, I don't know. It's got footnotes, it's got headings like it did in Mythos. Oh, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So yes, that is also a very high priority of mine on the TBR, because I also think it could help with my dissertation and all my essays and all that shizzle. So thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. If you did enjoy this video, please like it. Please give a little bit of a subscribe. You can give it a little bit of a subscribe, but if you wholly subscribe, that would also be great too. So please subscribe if you would like to, and see more of my videos popping up on your thread. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yes, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.